Dear engineers, I am IV Priya Kumar, Deputy Executive Engineer working in Roads and Buildings Department. I am here to give you a presentation on creation and maintenance in the department. Going into the presentation, just I want to give you a brief introduction about our department. Our department consists of Engineer-in-Chief as a head and some chief engineers, then Superintendent Engineer, then Executive Engineer, Deputy Executive Engineer, then Assistant Executive Engineer and Assistant Engineer. They are heading the sections in the field. In our department, how we will execute the works, in this slide I will explain you system of execution of works. Any work to be executed, go through all this process. First we will investigate what is the necessity of the work. Based on the necessity, we will do site exploration, plans and structural designs to be evolved. After obtaining plans and structural designs, we will prepare estimates. Based on the estimates, government will give administrative sanction. After getting the administrative sanction, department head, based on their powers, depending upon their powers, sanction the technical sanction. After technical sanction, all the works will go for tendering process. After tendering, contractors will be assigned and an agreement will be concluded with contractor, and the site will be handed over to the contractor for executing the work. Then during the execution, the field engineers will involve, and after execution of the work, after completing the work, it will be handed over to the department, concerned departments. That is the total process of execution of works in the department. While giving the contract to the contractor, the agreement usually consists of plans, specifications, quantities, rates, milestones, period of completion, conditions of contract. All these things will become a document in the contract agreement. Then R&D department usually executes roads, buildings and bridges. In our department, we have different types of roads depending upon their importance. National highways, they connect interstates for interstate movement. Then state highways, they are inter-district roads, major district roads within the district towns, and rural roads. The connectivity is between villages. And we have the other type of roads based on the materials used: cement concrete roads, blacktop roads, metalled roads, unmetalled roads. Then based on the lane width, we have single lane, that is 3.75 meters to 7 meters. Then double lane, 7 meters to 10.5 meters. Then multi-lane, 10.5 meters and above. Now we can see the cross section here of flexible pavement. The flexible pavement consists of embankment at the bottom, then subgrade 500 thick, then subbase, above the subbase, base, above the base wearing course, and you see in the slide that is total roadway width and carriageway width, treated shoulders, earthen shoulders. All these things will be a part of the flexible pavement. Usually base course will be of 225 to 300 mm WBM or WMM, that is waterbound macadam or wet mix macadam. Then subbase, here most of the times compaction is very important in road formation. The bottom layer embankment should be compacted to 95% of the dry density. Then above that subgrade, compaction should be minimum of 97% of dry density. Then subbase compacted to 98% of the dry density. Above this subbase, there is a base course. Above the base course, a binder course will be there. Binder course usually consists of bituminous macadam or bituminous concrete or semi-dense bituminous concrete, and above that wearing course. In between wearing course and binder course, there will be a tack coat, and between the binder course and base course, there will be a prime coat. This is about flexible pavement construction. And while constructing the flexible pavements, most of the times importance should be given to the compaction. If the compaction is very good, the life of the road will be very good. Then rigid pavement. Rigid pavement is nothing but cement concrete pavement. So in cement concrete pavement, this base layer is missing. All other things will be remain same. Instead of base layer, we will have lean concrete, then concrete pavement. In cement concrete pavements, also compaction is very important, which improves or increases the life of the roads. And one more important aspect while executing we have to see is drainage. Proper drainage is very important. If the road is not properly drained, the water which stored on the roads due to irregular drainage provisions, the road will spoil with a short period. For example, we can see in this slide, this is a very good road executed every time within 3 months, 4 months they are laying the road. You see how water is stagnated because of no drainage system in the road. See, this should not happen in our roads. As your upcoming engineers joined in the department very recently, you can patch this type of pockets on the roads in your little jurisdiction, and you can bring those points to the notice of immediate engineers. That will help the community in a large extent. Then we will have different types of bridges, culverts like that. So in this slide, I will tell you what are culverts and bridges. If the length of bridges or length of the structure is less than 6 meters, we will call it as culvert. In culvert again, we will have pipe culvert, slab culvert, box culvert. Pipe culvert means we will use NP3 or NP4 Hume pipes. In slab culvert, we will use RCC slabs, and box culvert RCC again with walls and slab and base, everything is interconnected and will form a box. Then if length of the structure is more than 6 meters, we will call it as a bridge, and if length is less than or equal to 60 meters, we will call it as minor bridge. If length is more than 60 meters, we will call it as major bridge. Length means here length is measured between inner faces of dirt walls. In the next slide, you can see the details of bridge. Here in this slide, we will have one pier and 2 abutments, and superstructure is shown in pink color. The length between 2 dirt walls is called length of the bridge. Bridges may be further classified as high level bridge, low level bridge, submersible bridge, causeway, based on the RCL fixation. That is, HFL is high flood level, OFL is ordinary flood level. If the bridge RCL is above HFL with some vertical clearance, then we will call as high level bridge. In low level bridge, no vertical clearance will be provided. It is called low level bridge. In submersible bridge, the bridge is constructed with RCL just at the level of OFL, so that when HFL comes, water flows above the bridge and it is called submersible bridge. And causeway, all the time water flows rainy season above the bridge, summer seasons and other seasons it is exposed and you can pass over the path. Then based on material, RCC bridge, prestressed concrete bridge, steel bridge. Again, based on lane width, bridges are classified as single lane bridge, double lane bridge, multi lane bridge. In single lane bridge, carriageway width is minimum of 4.2 meters. In double lane bridge, carriageway width minimum of 7.5 meters. And in multi lane bridge, for every extra lane we have to provide. Then important points in construction of bridges we have to take care of is MFL. MFL is nothing but maximum flood level, which you usually consider 50 years recurrence. In the 50 years, what is the maximum flood level? that is considered as maximum flood level. Ordinary flood level, in every year during rainy season there will be a flood level that is usually called as ordinary flood level. Then linear waterway. What is the waterway required after construction of the bridge or to pass over the water under the bridge is called linear waterway. Then normal or skew crossing, whether the bridge is crossing the river in right angle or with some angle. With some angle is called skew angle. Then foundation level. It is very important aspect in construction of bridges. The foundation level should be fixed below the nonce covering level of the stream. Nonce covering level will be calculated, that will be taken care of in the design offices, but during execution you should take care of the foundation level should be properly placed. If there is any difference between the drawings and your site, it should be reported immediately, otherwise there is a problem of collapse of the structure. Then RCL fixing. If the MFL is properly obtained, then RCL can be properly fixed. Most of the times or sometimes if MFL is not properly taken from the field, some of the bridges because of less RCL and MFL is above the RCL, heavy water comes during the rainy season and superstructures washed off. So this is very important aspect. Then benchmark. During the survey time, some temporary benchmark or permanent benchmark should be established near the site. That level should be marked and reference to that benchmark shall be mentioned in the drawings, because later when after approval, if you don't have the benchmark, you cannot fix what is the level. The design office will give one level, during the execution you may fix some other level, that is very difficult to match. So therefore benchmark is very, very important and it should be fixed properly. Then you see one problem, scaffolding and shuttering. This is very important aspect in construction of bridges. You see here on left side one slide, because of improper scaffolding, you see only Kazrane Ballis were taken, they were also not properly fixed. Before laying the slab itself, the formwork and centering completely collapsed and lot of loss to the property as well as human life sometimes. Sometimes it is also time also very important for us. And the right side slide shows you the slab beams were executed, then the shuttering and scaffolding completely collapsed due to heavy rains. Here also scaffolding failure. So therefore it is very important the scaffolding shall be taken care of before laying the slab, and it should be cross tied properly. The materials used should be properly taken care of. Strong scaffolding and shuttering is a prerequisite for any construction. Then if you take care of scaffolding, it is nothing but you are safeguarding the interest of the government. Safeguarding the interest of the government means safeguarding the interest of the people and saving the money of the government. That is one important aspect you people can do in the field. Then this is one bridge where you see how the reinforcement is exposed from the bottom of the beam. Cover to the reinforcement is very important. Here the cover is not properly maintained, hence the steel is exposed and the bridge is not fit for passage of traffic. So all you people should take care of cover at the time of execution of the work. Then spacing of reinforcement. All we have studied in the colleges, that is vertical spacing, horizontal spacing between the bars. What is the minimum spacing? We know that is metal size plus 5 mm should be one aspect, or diameter of the rod is another aspect. Out of these two, whichever is greater, we have to provide that value. But in this example or in this slide, you observe the rods were placed adjacent to each other and they are not allowing any concrete to flow in between, and is a defective concrete and defective structure. After completion of the structure, it is very difficult to rectify this also, and lot of property is lost. You take care of field, not to happen this type of things in your jurisdiction. So it's very bad construction supervision. Please take care of minimum spacing between the rods. Then another aspect is compaction. Compaction, if you have good compaction, you will get good concrete quality. For compaction, we will use generally vibration, needle vibration, pan vibrators, and sometimes ramming also. So that you should take care of for proper compaction. Then in the field, usually we will make some cubes for testing whether we have achieved good quality concrete or not. 150 by 150 by 150 size cubes are casted, that is from the concrete which is used on the site. These cubes shall be filled in 3 layers. Each layer is to be compacted with 25 strokes of 16 mm dia and 600 mm long round bullet pointed steel rod. Usually you may use that HYSD rods pieces available in the field. If you do like that, cube strength you may not achieve properly, and when vigilance people or quality control people visit the site, they may take some of the cubes for testing in their labs. If the strength is not achieved in their labs, you have executed a poor quality concrete in the site. That means cubes are not properly cast, the total structure will be in a dangerous situation. Even though the concrete quality used in the structure is good, if your cubes are not given proper strength, it will be difficult to explain at a later date. Again, you have to do in situ tests like rebound hammer test or pulse velocity test, all those things we have to do. Then durability of the concrete, factors that influence durability of concrete, the environment where our structure is located, whether it is industrial environment or coastal environment, all these that will depend durability. Then cover to the embedded steel. In earlier slides we have seen that cover is very important. So if you maintain proper cover, you will get good quality concrete and good life to the structure. The type and quality of constituent materials. Constituent materials in concrete is steel, cement, sand, then metal. So all these materials should be of good quality. The steel used should not be corroded or rust proof, and it should be protected from corrosion. And materials, sand, it should be free from dirt and silt, and metal, it should be strong HBC metal. Then water is also very important. You should not use water from salinity areas. It should be potable drinking water. It should be potable water only we have to use. If water is not good, the total, even though you spend crores of money, it is a waste. The life of the structure will come down, and it may fall within 4 or 5 years time. You may lose the total value of the structure. Then the most important thing is cement content and water cement ratio. Water cement ratio is very important thing which we have to see in the field. If water cement ratio is between 0.4 and 0.5, it is okay. If the strength, you will get good quality strength. If you cross 0.5 and 0.5 to 0.6, a drastic change in compressive strength of the cubes or concrete. So you maintain good water cement ratio as suggested by the mixed design. Then workmanship to obtain full compaction and efficient curing. Then curing is also very important. Most of the times you notice that columns or slabs, they are not properly cured during the site, because the executive staff, they may be having so many works on the site, they could not concentrate on that. But because of you people joined now in the departments, you have less jurisdiction and you can attend all these things. Each and every work you know very well, and you can insist for better curing and better compaction. The shape and size of the member also plays an important role in the durability of the work or concrete. You see here in this slide, the approach is washed off of the bridge. You see, just inauguration is completed, heavy floods came and this approach washed off. You see, it is around 100 crores project. What is the use? It is not able, we are not able to use that structure immediately. Again, you have to rectify this. This is because you can see the problem is lack of proper fixation of linear waterway, or lack of compaction on the backside of the abutment, or lack of proper protection given to the abutments. See, all these things field people or you at the time of execution can take care of. Then buildings, we have non-residential buildings and residential buildings in our department. Non-residential buildings comes judicial courts, and sometimes we are executing stadiums, indoor stadiums, outdoor stadiums, like that. Then other structures, water tanks, check dams and other irrigation structures, all these things are very important execution we are doing. Then life of assets, or whatever assets we create, they should stand for their whole life. That is, for example, if you take bridges, the life of the bridges should be 100 years, and for buildings 50 years, and for cement concrete roads 30 years, and for flexible pavements 10 to 15 years. Many times cement concrete roads, they are not standing for 30 years, just within 4 or 5 years you are finding damages on the roads. It should not happen, because 30 years if it is the life, so that renewals can come down and cost will be reduced. Then maintenance, what is the requirement of maintenance? It's similar to our human body, we need maintenance, do everyday washing. Similarly, we take food every day, and similar to that, the structures also need maintenance to reduce the rate of deterioration. If you don't maintain, it will deteriorate at a faster rate. To prolong the life of road and CD works, life to increase the life. Then to reduce vehicle operating costs, if the road is not properly maintained, the vehicle passing over the roads will damage the tires, axles, all those things will get repaired. That to provide good riding quality, to provide safety to the road user. So the maintenance, the government gave 132 GO. According to that GO, 75% of the amount is earmarked for periodical maintenance, that is special repairs program of the roads. In this, bad stretches which are ripe for renewals is taken up under the periodical maintenance, and 25% is earmarked for ordinary repairs, and this 25% is reallocated as 22% for ordinary repairs, 3% for emergency repairs. Emergency repairs are nothing but cyclone, flood damages, restoration, scours, breaches, fallen trees cutting, and all those things will come under emergency repairs. Then sometimes urgent repairs, works taken up in connection with security and visits of VVIPs. The amount will be adjusted between these three. Then maintenance schedule in the department, usually 1st February of every year, the maintenance estimates will be prepared and they will be submitted to the Deputy Executive Engineers 15th February. Then finalization of estimates by the Executive Engineers by 31st March of every year. Then tender notices by 1st week of April every year. Then entrustment of work before 30th of every year. Ordinary maintenance works, 20% of the total amount will be spent on this. What we do during the ordinary maintenance is pothole repairs, dig out repairs, sunken portion repairs, then edge repairs, road edges repairs, scour filling with gravel, side earth, shoulder berm repairs, vents clearance. Vents clearance means culverts and all those things, they will be cleared. Juliflora, jungle, shrub, light jungle clearance, clearance of litter and debris, chip concreting to slabs on exposed steel surfaces. Sometimes concrete surfaces, steel is exposed. There we have to relay the concrete layer over it. Masonry repairs to the body walls, piers, abutments, retaining walls, parapets. Then plastering to the body walls, piers, abutments, retaining walls and parapets. And road marking, sometimes road markings will vanish. Again you have to remark. And painting to kilometer HM stones, hectometer and kilometer stones painting, whitewashing, painting to handrails, guard stones, guide stones of CD works, bridges, replacement of HM and kilometer stones. Sometimes the stones will be removed by some thing, then you have to replace them. Reconstruction of small pipe culverts, sometimes pipe culverts will be damaged, you have to reconstruct those pipe culverts. And sometimes there will not be any rates in the SSRs. In that case we have to go for unskilled labor engagement for carrying out works of items which have no data, like vents, debris, litter clearance, drain chutes, etc. Then other items to upkeep the road traffic worthy, protect the road asset. All these items will cover under ordinary maintenance, and every year this maintenance will take in place and roads are put into good traffic worthy condition. That is the process of maintenance. And my dear friends, our Honorable CM has taken up this program, Nadu Nedu program, which is a very good program, because all assets which were created earlier are reconditioned now, sometimes recreated also. You see, a very good program initiated by our Honorable CM, which is an amalgamation of asset creation and asset reconditioning. If we put a little extra effort while asset creation, we may save nearly 20 to 30%, sometimes 50% recurring maintenance expenditure for the whole life of asset. Then the same program, if extended to other departments, now government has taken only school buildings and hospital buildings. If the same is extended to other buildings and other departments also, many buildings or many structures which are in dangerous situation will be revised life will be given to those structures. It's a very good program taken up by the government, and it should be done every year for all departments. Then you see, this is the maintenance problem of a bridge. See how trees are there around the bridge and damaged brickwork, plastering, everything. So if you do proper maintenance, we can save the life of this bridge. Similarly, you see here, the plastering is completely peeled off and a lot of trees, plants are there. This is also a poor maintenance and insufficient cover for this bridge. You see, the reinforcement is exposed. If this is identified at the beginning stages, that can be rectified and the life of the structure can be saved. And problem of cover and spacing. As explained in the earlier slides, you see the bridge after 2 or 3 years, the steel is completely exposed and life of the structure is coming down. Then bad workmanship. You see here the bearing, this is neoprene rubber bearing, above that concrete beam is resting, but concrete is not properly cast and steel is exposed. The life of the bridge is coming down. All these things, if you find or if you notice in your surroundings, you may report it to your immediate officers and they can be repaired. At the early stages, if you repair, the life will be improved. See, this is another example where see big trees are coming on the structure. You see, very recently the road is laid and because of the poor maintenance, it is collapsed. If you pay attention every year on this type of structures, you may save the property as well as the money. You see, purely maintained bridges, many every year when water flows, takes some of the soil below the or from the bed level, that is called scouring. If you are not able to notice where the scouring is usual practice, after every flood you have to visit the site and the bridge, and you should notice is there any ditches near the piers and all those things, and they should be refilled so that the life will be increased. Otherwise, bridge will collapse after some time. You see, this bridge, because of poor maintenance, pier shrink and bridge collapsed. If it is noticed in the beginning, that can be rectified without any difficulty and the life can be improved. People may lose communication between the two areas. While reconstructing the bridge may take 1 year or sometimes 2 years. So you can avoid all those things and difficulties for the people. So thank you, my dear fellow engineers. Please watch around you during your office duties. Any difficulties you notice, that should be brought to your senior officers immediately and rectified. Save the nation, save the money, save the interest of the people. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.